Oh my goodness. It is so wonderful to see all of these beautiful faces for me on a Sunday morning, for y'all afternoon. Firstly, I just want to say thanks to my entire panel. We started doing this last year and it was a hit. Everyone loved it. I think all of us coming from like our different pockets and perspectives of the fandom coming together and sharing our thoughts. So let's do a round robin of everyone introducing themselves. Obviously, I'll kick it off. I'm Alicia Michelle. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I mean, you're here, you're watching this, so you might as well subscribe. It doesn't make any sense to like not subscribe. You love it. All right, I'm gonna pass it right here because yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Tara. I'm an American Eurovision super fan coming from Detroit, Rock City. You know what I mean? We've got some rock, we've got some rap, got some Motown. I'm just a lover of music, and so Eurovision is just tailor-made for someone like me, and I'm happy to be here. Good morning.
Hello, I am Louise. I'm from Ireland. I feature on the channel Eurovision Hub along with Julia. That's how I've gotten to know Alicia, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm Viv. I'm from Norway and a bit from Iceland. I'm part of the team over at ESC Extra. I've been doing Eurovision since I don't even know anymore. We had a lot of fun on this panel last year, so I'm delighted to be back.
And I'm Julia. I'm from Sweden, also part of the Eurovision Hub family. I've been doing that for 2 years now, and it's been awesome. I've been a massive Eurovision fan since I was a kid, and I absolutely love this and being part of this community. So thank you, Alicia, for inviting me.
Well, thank you all for joining. So I've got an icebreaker. We're gonna kick this off with an icebreaker. And basically, how are you feeling today, as described by a Eurovision 2020 song? And I won't pick on people, but whomever wants to go, have at it.
Okay, so specifically today, here in the Midwest, springtime means like rain and clouds every single day. But I woke up this morning and we have a crystal clear blue sky. The sun is shining. I'm feeling very hopeful. Okay, I just feel the hope. It's alive with me. So hope. I'm going with hope.
I had a long night out last night for my birthday, and I got home in the early hours of the morning. So I'm feeling a bit Spanish today. I'm a bit slow-mo, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't done very much before this today.
I was thinking I really wanted to pick a song from 2010 instead, if I can, because up here we've had a lot of snow. It's been really cold, but today it's super nice. The sun is out. I've been out in the garden digging around a bit, so life definitely looks better in spring.
Nice. Same as here. It's been a snowstorm this entire week, and now finally the sun is out. This is not a joke. I legit just had a banana, and I'm in a kind of a weird mood. So I am give that wolf a banana today.
I love it. I had to bust out the icebreaker. I'm so used to doing icebreakers for like every meeting that I have at work. So I was like, you know what? Like, I need a Eurovision themed icebreaker to break the ice. But today is really exciting because we're going to be talking about all the songs in semifinal one. And we're also going to be talking about France and Spain. So I just want to kick off because we've been looking at some of these pre-parties, some of the clips online. I will say I haven't sat and like watched one in its entirety, but I have like seen like clips here and there. But let's kick it off and talk about Spain because I was one of the people who was like, I don't know if I want her to be doing too many pre-parties because we already saw her like kill it on the stage, but she's just been continuing to burn it up on all of these stages in all of these cities. How are y'all feeling about Spain this year?
It's weird, isn't it? Because I think being in the bubble, we're kind of spoiled. We've seen it so many times. I wouldn't say boring is the word, but I'm just like acclimatized to it now. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's Chanel. She's spinning around. She's doing her thing. And then I show my local friends and they're like, that's amazing. Like, whoa. And I forget about the first time I actually saw it. Yeah, they're going all out for the pre-parties, Spain this year, but it's so refreshing to see them actually doing well with hype behind them. You know, even if Chanel doesn't get the result maybe that some Spanish people want, it's such a good step in the right direction for them, I think, longer term.
I have to admit that I've not listened to hardly any of the songs, more than maybe once or twice. So it's my reactions are just based on listening to the songs a couple of times. I feel that Spain is something that we've heard so many times before. And even though she's really, really good, I don't know if you guys listen to the karaoke version. There is virtually no backing vocals on tape. It's just her singing, which is super. So I think they're going to do a lot better than maybe a lot of the fans think, because people who vote are a lot of them at parties, and this is a song that works at parties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love me some slow-mo. I'm jealous of everyone who gets to watch it for the first time, you know, night of or whenever they're watching it for the first time. I can't wait to see what jumpsuit she's going with. I hope it sparkles and just, and all the choreography. It's so good. It's a rare track where it's like, it's better live than listening to it. Like, listening to it is fantastic, but watching it, it just comes alive. It's so good. Like I said, I'm jealous of everyone who gets to see it for the first time. I wish I could experience that again. It's so good. Love it.
Yeah, I love when that dance break comes out, because you don't have that in the, like, you're listening on Spotify.
Right.
But I also agree what you're saying, especially you, Louise. It's like I was so mind blown the first time I saw it, and then now I still love it. I still listen to the song a lot, but that feeling, as you said, I want to relive it again. But I think in a year like this, when we have so many ballads, and then Spain comes out and just mops the floor, I think she's going to get a lot of votes for that. And I give it to them, because I think Spain deserves it. You know, I think to say Spain really deserves to step up. They have stepped up, and they deserve that votes for that.
Yeah, I feel like with Spain, you know, and I think what you're doing with is a little bit of what I'm doing this year. I'm kind of coming out of stuff. You know, last year I was still reacting with Eurovision Hub, so I would watch all the videos that like Eurovision Hub would obviously do. But this year I haven't watched anyone's reactions to anything, because I really just kind of want to like keep my brain sort of, I hate to say like pure, but I don't want any noise. I really want to like kind of clue in and like dig a little bit deep, because I think back even to like Eurovision 2016, and someone even just a couple of days ago were like, you predicted it. You got all the qualifiers, right? Like in two of my like random watch with me streams. And I think that there is something about tuning out the noise. And with that, when I think back to the first time that I saw Spain and just being like, oh, okay. And I even remember when I did my reaction video where we were just listening to the tracks, I was like cool with the track, but I remember saying like the staging for this, like if there's real staging for this, this could be something. And I think that that's real. And moving on to talking about another one of our big five countries, France, which I want to talk about staging with this one, because France, a lot of people liked this song. It definitely, I think, is a risk and something different of what France is giving us. But is this a risk that we think will pay off? Because we've been seeing some of the performances at the pre-party where we're not getting, I think, a ton of staging. What are y'all feeling for France this year?
I really like that it's different. It's going to stand out no matter where it ends up in the running order. They're really, really good. I love that we're getting a new language. A bit upset that there is no French, but whatever. But to me, I think it's going to do quite well, because it reminds me a lot of Voda, which did exceptionally well. So it's very much not my cup of tea, I have to admit. I didn't like Voda, and I really want to like this song, but I just can't. But I think it's going to do well.
I agree with wanting to like it. I feel like it has a lot of elements that I feel like I should like more. For some reason, I just don't. I don't really want to listen to it. I do like the drop. Like, I like the instrumentation, the beats behind it. But yeah, it's just not a favorite for me. And I feel like I'm going against the grain here because a lot of the fandom loves it, and I kind of am usually like in tune with the fandom. But with this one, there's definitely a disconnect. I'm just not. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just don't love it.
I'm the exact same. It's kind of like the song that's like in the middle. Like it's not I don't dislike it, but I also don't love it. You know, I'm really like in between. And for me, a lot of times songs really comes awake for me when I see them live at Eurovision at the actual date. It was the same with Italy last year. Like I didn't like it at all, and then I watched it during rehearsals, and I all of a sudden loved it. But for me, France this year, it's just not sticking out for me personally. But I do think that a lot of people are going to like it because it is different and it is something else, and it brings up feelings in you, doesn't it? For those of you who get it. I don't really get it. I'm sorry.
I agree with you guys. Yeah, I feel similarly. Like there's so much want in me. Like my little Celtic heart is like, it's a Celtic song. Like I should love it. And I don't know. Maybe it doesn't land for me. Maybe I was too invested in the national final and I liked some other songs more. That always clouds your judgment a little bit too. Crazy to think that it's a Eurovision with no French language, right? Like when you consider we had Switzerland and everything last year. I also just want to touch on, because I saw somebody mentioned it in the chat about Chum. I don't like to compare songs all the time, you know, but I do think trying to put like my objective hat on and out of the bubble and thinking about locals and local viewers who will watch Eurovision at their Eurovision party. They'll be having a drink, they'll be having a good time, you know, they're having fun, they want to see some fun. I could see this having a similar appeal to what Shum did last year across Europe, maybe not to the extent that Shum had, but I could see it on my friends, you know, sitting around watching Eurovision being like, oh, this one's fun, like, oh, there's drums, oh, this is a bit kooky, you know. I see it maybe having that appeal. It's not in any way in contention to win or anything like that, but I think it will make some kind of a mark on the scoreboard. I don't think it will be trading towards the end.
It's got stunning rhythm though.
I think that France is in an interesting position because I think France needed a reset year, Bulgaria needed a reset year, and Switzerland did. So to be fair, I wasn't checking for any of these countries to be coming with heat and fire to win with love, you know, and so I just felt like they needed like sort of a palate cleanser, because sometimes when you've got a ton of momentum behind you, you just got to kind of wipe the slate a little bit. And I think those three countries, in a way, are wiping the slate. And as strong as I like Destination Eurovision, tons of songs that I just liked listening to that I was like, oh, I can just listen to this playlist. None of them were really giving me that like, ooh, this is something that I think could win. But let's move on to semifinal one. Now, semifinal one is interesting. Overall, I just want to ask, how are y'all feeling about the running order? Because I think when I first saw it, I was kind of like, it didn't feel like groundbreaking. It felt sort of like, okay, I think that this is cool. I think the only thing that really stood out to me was like, all right, we're closing on Armenia. But I think after listening to Ewan from ESC Insight, the idea of Armenia just being sort of an easy, kind of catchy song, I was like, oh, I actually think I agree with that. So I've warmed to the idea of Armenia closing the show. Anything that stood out to y'all in the running order of semifinal one?
I love the Albania's opening. I love it so much. It feels right as a Eurovision fan because hers was one of the first songs. So I feel like it's been with us for a long, long time. And Ronela is so like passionate and excited about Eurovision. So I think she's the perfect person to open Eurovision up this year with a bang. with a bang. Imagine a local viewer being like, oh, I'll just turn on Eurovision, and you get Albania opening up. You're not going to forget her. No way.
Albania is one of my absolute favorites this year. And the fact that's the first song we get to see when Eurovision starts, I am so excited. So that is, like, for her competition-wise, I don't think that matters what placement she's on. I think she's going to get through the final 100%. I'm just really excited that she gets to start it. And I don't think anything else is popping out to me other than Armenia closing it in the running order.
That's like, we're all around the campfire together. It's kind of a cute closer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny. There's like two instances where there's like really like ethnic fun songs. I don't know if fun's the right word, but like you have Secret followed by Eat Your Salad.
Why are they trying to bury Latvia? What are they doing to Latvia?
And then they have Stefania followed by Intention. I just feel like they're giving us these like really, really good ethnic songs that are probably going to do pretty well, followed by these like corny kind of songs. I just think it's like a little shady, but it's funny. I don't know.
It's interesting because this one said our shock non-qualifier in semi-1 will be Austria, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I don't know if there will be anything shocking about that after the vocals that we've been getting treated to in these clips. I mean, I will tell you, and this is why sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I want artists to do pre-parties, because it's like, maybe just stay in the lab a little bit more, stay in the gym, work it out, get your kinks all ironed out, as opposed to this potentially being your first impression that you're giving folks. But are there any shock qualifiers that y'all feel like we're going to get? Is anything not qualifying that shocking? Because I will say I am in the camp of people who thinks that the first semi, I don't think it's as competitive as the second one, although I think that there are lots of songs I like. I think there's only about 6 that I need to see move forward, and the rest of them can kind of fight it out. I'm like, as long as I get those 6, I'm kind of okay.
Mm-hmm. I think for me at least, semi-1 is more even. It's like I don't have any like. Well, I have a couple that I really like and a couple I really don't like, but mainly it's just like a 5 out of 10 most of the songs. While in semi-2, you have the top and the bottom and not very many in the middle. So I think actually semi-1 is harder to predict because there are so many that are like around the same level.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of like tops and bottoms. I'm really, really hoping for Greece and Portugal from these. But I mean, aside from that, yeah, I have others that I like, but I don't know. I don't find it too competitive here.
I want to. Oh, sorry. I was going to say Portugal as a semi-1 jury winner. So if folks want to weigh in, I'm not going to lie. I don't think that Portugal is winning the jury in semi-final 1. I think the Netherlands or Greece is going to run away with that.
There's a lot of strong female power, even like looking at the running order of the semi. But Eurovision in general this year is full of women. We love to see it. I love semi-final 1. I think it's the more fun of the semis. I actually probably prefer it. I'm more attached to the songs in the semi-final, and I'm also calling Moldova. I think there are some people out there sleeping on it. Moldova's going to do so well. Definite qualifier in my mind. Folky and fun. Why would it not qualify?
100%. I mean, I'm looking at my, my Scandinavian neighbors, and I'm just like, I mean, Norway, I'm sorry. I love you so much. Like, I feel like Norway this year is just bringing the fun and actually the entertainment, because it's so different and it's so unique and people are going to remember it. And like, if that doesn't go to the final, no.
It should be,
it's 100%. And as you said, Netherlands is in there, Portugal, Armenia, exactly. Greece, obviously. And I'm interested to see how Austria is going to do, because I'm not seeing it as it's not going to qualify, but that's the thing that's going to be exciting to see if Austria will actually, because it's a good song, but if the vocal is not there, that could cause.
Well, but the vocals are all on the backing track. Have you listened to the karaoke version? It's literally the whole song.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. The same thing for Norway, though. There's a lot of vocals on the backing track for Norway as well.
But I feel like Norway's so over the top that I don't think people are gonna think about the vocals. They're just gonna be very entertained, and that's kind of it, you know.
Kids all over Europe are going to vote for Norway.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I mean, can you possibly sit still during the chorus? I
Nope.
can't.
Nope.
And I mean,
The
I
lyrics are
don't
easy.
really like the song even, but as soon as that chorus comes on,
Everybody understands yum, 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 you know?
Yeah.
Latvia too is another fun one. And those guys have been killing it at the pre-parties.
Yeah.
Like the stuff they've been doing with fans, handing out bananas, reusable bags. They are hilarious. I want to party with them. If I get to Turin, maybe I want to meet them so badly.
Well, I have a question for the group. So we talked kind of a little bit of like shock non-qualifiers and even songs that would stand out. Who do you think could sneak their way into the final from semifinal one? And Lou, you already kicked it off and said Moldova. I don't know if Moldova sneak. I keep seeing these people. I think we're seeing the same people who are like, Moldova's not going to qualify. I mean, like, to me, this is just not reality. Like,
No.
I'm like, no, that one's going to be in. But who do you think could sneak their way in to the final from semifinal one?
I don't know if we have a lot of like classic rock dads picking up the phone and calling for for Bulgaria. You know, the
No, they're winning Eurovision. Did you not hear?
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a rock chick at heart. That's my music.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not even good rock, is it?
No.
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 I mean, even though rock is my kind of music, I would never pick up the phone and vote for this just because it's rock. It has to be good rock. So I don't think they're going to get the votes that Italy got last year, for instance, or Finland last year.
No.
So I think no matter how many rock dads are watching, it's not going to be good enough. Fingers crossed.
Right, yeah.
Denmark might.
We're seeing a lot of Denmark in the chat.
I have to say, my mom, I sat her down to listen to all of Eurovision and make notes. And Denmark was one of my mom's favorites. And I think I've been saying this all along, but like Denmark has qualified with less and with far more competition. So that's always why I think I've always had like Denmark as like sneaking through or on the fence. I'm going to wait to do my prediction video at the end of the month, but I'm not going to lie. I think I already have my list and I don't think it's going to change. Yeah.
You know what I also feel looking at this list, and you've mentioned Denmark there, Lisa, both Denmark and Slovenia are two which I could see maybe, okay, I don't imagine them getting a lot of 12 points, but if you're looking at a jury, and because there's a lot of kind of polarizing songs in this semi-final that some jurors might not go for, I could see Slovenia and Denmark slipping into a lot of people's top 10s and securing a bunch of low votes that way. So they could be definitely two to watch. I would agree.
Yeah.
Do we think Denmark's placement could help them out too? Like, because you have that really slow Portugal song, that kind of lilting Croatia song, and then you have Denmark with like, you know, instruments. It's rock, and it definitely stands out in a good way with the placement, I think.
Yeah, I will say, when I looked at the running order, my sneaking suspicion turned into like full blown, like, see, I told y'all. Like, I told y'all that I thought it had a chance. And I will say, Denmark is my Eurovision 2022 karaoke select this year. Hands down. It is fully my karaoke select. It is great with a glass of wine. It is great with a beer. You know, you can shout it out, you know, while you're crying and holding your pillow.
Can we be the band? Can we make the band all the girls here?
Please.
It's so refreshing to see actually an all-female group, singing a song in that genre. It's good to see.
It is. It is.
And
It's something nostalgic about it for me. So that's why I will say I do think I'm slightly biased to it.
Mhm.
I thought that I had was maybe the charm of the girls from Iceland could maybe slip into people's hearts, but then looking at the running order, being in between Austria and Greece, I think that's it. I mean, it's a good placement in the running order if you think of the placement, but not what countries are before and after you.
I was just going to say, I think Iceland might actually sneak in coming after Austria because they can sing. And as
true.
we heard from Israel, maybe she can't.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
What's difficult with this semifinal for me, it's not what, because I also, as you said, like I have my top, like I know what countries, I know they're for sure qualifying. It's just those other countries that I don't think would qualify might actually qualify. Like what are those countries like we're talking about now? But it's hard. But maybe Denmark, they might actually be able to slip in.
Well, let's kind of hit on some of these songs now. We touched on Albania, we touched on Latvia, but we have not talked about Lithuania at all. How are y'all feeling about the track?
I love that it's in Lithuanian. Languages is one of the reasons why I love Eurovision. So every year when there's all the songs that are in their national language get an extra little plus, no matter what I think of the song. Again, not quite my cup of tea, but she's really good live. And she seems very convincing when she performs it. So I think if for people who love that kind of music, it might rake in a few votes.
Yeah, I don't love it. Again, it's great, like you mentioned, with having the native language. She's very like when you're watching it. I think it's a track that is more engaging when it's live. When I'm listening to it on Spotify, I really don't want to listen to it. But when I'm watching it, when I'm watching the performance, I watch the whole thing. She's a good performer, and I think she would get the votes more so than the track pulling in the votes, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's like bottom middle for me, like not bottom, but even in the middle, it's kind of near the bottom.
I will say, and I had this, and Lily from Eurovision Fam will back me up on this plug, EurovisionFam.com. But the plug basically is, we know that Lithuania is changing the staging completely, which makes me both nervous but curious and excited. Because the vibe I get from it is so not even cabaret. And my mom and I were literally with wine glasses last Saturday night dancing around the house doing our best Fosse. Because if she just goes Fosse on it, we could have the chair, we could have the bowler hat with the leotard. If we just get that is the staging package and it'll win. Not win, qualify. I think that's the winning staging package for Lithuania to advance. But let's move on. I saw some folks talking about Switzerland. I think Switzerland's going to pull in Austria 2021, and I don't think that they're going to be advancing. I don't think it's bad, but I really don't see it. What do y'all think?
I mean, I like Switzerland. I think it's a beautiful song, but again, I kind of get the Austria 2021 vibe. No one is talking too much about it. It is it is a beautiful song. It really is. But in a competition like this, it's kind of like, you listen to it, but I don't know if people are actually going to vote for it. Like, I don't see it having like a top 3 in people's top 10s, But I think it's a beautiful song, and I wouldn't mind it going to the final. I wouldn't mind it at all. But it's not a song that I would listen to in my free time either.
I keep forgetting it's even there.
That was Austria for me last year. I keep forgetting.
Not really late.
It's like when you said Switzerland, I was like, Switzerland? What's Switzerland again?
Yeah. So Switzerland for me, like there's slow songs and then there's Switzerland. Like this one for me is just so
Too slow.
slow. And I think they helped it with the placing order because it's not between fast songs. Like before it and after it, they're like somewhat slow-ish songs. But yeah, it's not for me. Not for me.
I like it. I think it's really cute. And this is a very Ireland UK kind of reference. So I don't know if everybody will know what I mean, but around Christmas time here, there's a store called John Lewis,
Yep.
and they have the big John Lewis ads at Christmas time, which go viral. Oh yeah, Aaron's actually just said it. Yeah, it reminds me of that, which is like it's really cutesy and it makes you feel kind of warm inside for 3 minutes. But like, I don't know if you would vote for it. I don't know how it's going to stand up on its own in a competitive environment. Although, not to plug Eurovision Hub too much on your channel, Alicia, but there is a video recently.
Plug away. Drop all the plugs.
There is a really good video, which I recommend if you haven't seen it to go and watch, of lots of the Melody Festivalen artists reacting to Eurovision songs. And a lot of them loved Switzerland. I was quite surprised with the reception. And you have to consider people like that end up on Eurovision juries. So, you never know how it's going to strike a chord with people on the night. I don't see it qualifying, but I think there is a path for it to do so if it were to fall into place.
Not to shame the Melody Festival artists, but I think they kind of felt like they needed to say nice things. Like they don't want to say bad things about the songs, but they look genuinely like this is beautiful, but I don't think they would like vote for it. I don't think they would,
I will listen to the Swede here. I trust the Swedish person.
No, I think they liked it. I just don't think they liked it that much as they said they did. Just to be, they want to be nice to everybody because, people are watching them.
Well, let's pivot on to Slovenia, which I think we've mentioned a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I definitely saw a very clear path for Slovenia to qualify because to me, Slovenia is giving us the kitsch authentic Dario Frere moment that I think the fandom is sleeping on, but people at home could wake into. And depending upon how the lead-in person, the commentary ahead of time describes them, I mean, these are like kids, serving out this like sort of classic sound. What do y'all think of Slovenia?
I love that they're young. I think that is so cool. I would love if the staging was like you're at a prom and they're the band who's playing at prom. Like, how cool would that be? Disco balls and like in like corny suits with ruffles or something. I don't know. I just think it has the potential to be a really fun staging, like a fun show. Even though the song, maybe if you're listening to it on Spotify, I don't know, might not stand out as the most fun song, but it can be fun. And I would love to see it qualify. I would.
Apparently they missed some pre-party recently because they were at their own prom.
Really?
Yeah. I saw that somewhere. I was like, oh, bless them. They're so young.
I'm going to take it back to the Austria 2021 reference. I think this is my Austria 2021. I actually forgot for a second, as you did with Switzerland. And I was like, wait, Slovenia. This is not my thing. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't want to listen to it. And I feel bad saying it. It's just not my thing. I always hope that people do great. I'm not going to try to tear someone down, but it's just not for me.
I will say, I think what my mom said about the song, because I was really curious, her opinion, and she picked up some of the references where she was like, this feels like very like early Parliament Funkadelic, except the musical arrangement is wrong. We don't have like the real, and the way that's shot, we don't see the instrumentation moments. We don't get the bass moment. We don't get the horn. We don't get the drum, and sort of those things that make funk music so funky and like dope. We actually we don't get it. And so my mom was just like, I would feel so, she was like, there's something missing. And what she nailed down on was that she felt like just the musical arrangement was a little bit off. But let's move on and talk about Ukraine, which is coming right after Slovenia, which also I don't think is helping Slovenia's chances at all. I think the running order just completely went like, and now we're moving on. What do y'all think about what Ukraine is serving?
I like it. Yeah, it's good. I think it definitely deserves to qualify. I like. I guess I like every single thing about it. I really do. I don't know. Maybe if I love this, like, you know, how they performed it. I guess I don't know. Like the guy in that suit that like covered his whole face and everything. I don't know. I didn't love like the stage and the outfits and all that, but like the track itself, so good.
I love it so much. It's my second place this year.
Mm.
I will probably vote for it, assuming it gets to the final. It will. I can't vote in semi-final 1, but I will vote for it in the final. I really love it. This is one of a song like this is the main reason I watch Eurovision, to hear a different sound, different culture, the instruments, the folky feel. If I went traveling and I was, you know, in Ukraine, and like, goodness, like, it's hard to believe, but traveling, this is the kind of song I would want to hear in another country. You know, their folk, their culture, their instruments. I just love it. I really, really, really hope we'll get them in the final. I'm sure we will. Can't imagine they won't make it.
I think it's possibly the most sure qualifier in this semi. There's no way it's not qualifying. I also think it's going to do really, really well. It might be a televote winner. Because it stands out. It's fairly up tempo. So if you're at a party, you're going to go like, "Ooh, cheers!" And of course, it's Ukraine. And this year, that's going to matter. So I think it might do really, really well with the televote. Don't think it's going to do that well with the juries. Think we're probably going to see a top 5 result for Ukraine.
I agree. And I 100,000% respect this song. And I think a lot of people are going to like it. I think it's going to do great. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea, but I 100% respect them. And I obviously that are going to qualify. And I do believe a top 5 placement, 100% sure for them.
Okay. We're going to move on to Bulgaria. So we kind of talked about Bulgaria. I don't know if we need to go back. I will just say my mom, when it came on, my mom liked it. But then, because what I did was I played all the rock songs together. So we sort of were hopping around, but then the rock songs I sort of played together. And I was like, okay, which one do you like the most? And so she liked Bulgaria at first. She was not into San Marino at all. Latvia, she did not like it. Like, I will just tell you outright, like, even though Latvia I think is kind of funky, my mom was not feeling Latvia at all. And I didn't play the uncut version. I played, the clean version for my mom, and she wasn't feeling it. But then Denmark trumped it for her. But I mean, does anyone think that Bulgaria has a chance to qualify? Like, we could just hit on that. Anybody? Tara? I see you.
It's hard because it's not a terrible song. If you like rock, you probably would be more into it than other people. I just don't think the general masses are going to be into it at all. The best song is the guitar, or the best part of the song is the guitar solo.
Yes.
Honestly, that's like the best chunk of the song. If I could vote, as much as I love rock music, I wouldn't vote for it. So I don't think it'll qualify.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. They need the vote, like the votes they need are for people who like rock music. But as you said, it's not enough of a rock song. It's more of an easy rock. You know what I mean? So people who like rock music might actually not vote for it. And I think that's the reason they're not qualifying.
This is like the rock you would hear playing at a grocery store. Like the rock you would hear on the radio,
Yeah. So let's move on and talk. Let's do an upside. Let's talk about the Netherlands. I don't know what I'm saying, but I think You know, in my car, I be singing it. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I am singing it. What do y'all think of the Netherlands?
Beautiful.
Yeah, one of my
It's-
favorites.
Yeah, it's so good. I sit in the car and I can just like sometimes just like and I get it in my head. And I think it's beautiful. I love it. I think it's awesome.
And she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing live, and apparently she also has like a really, really good stage presence. I've not seen it live, so I'm really looking forward to seeing her.
This one isn't up there for me personally. The penny hasn't really dropped.
I really do enjoy the song. I like the trend this year of like sad girl music. I totally vibe with it, and this is definitely in that group. I love it. It's really good. You know, and I didn't love it at first. This one is definitely one that has grown on me. I like it more now than I did when it first came out. But I really, really do enjoy it, and I fully see it qualifying. Yeah.
All right, let's move on from the Netherlands and pivot. I mean, we talked about Moldova. I think we're all in agreement. Well, maybe we're not. We're all in agreement like Moldova is qualifying.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so.
yeah.
I think it will. It would surprise me a lot if it didn't.
Yeah, I agree. It would surprise me as well. That would be a shock non-qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be shocked. Yeah, to me, I would be shocked.
Mm.
I would be shocked if Moldova didn't make it. Now, I will say, I don't know if I need it. Like, you know what I mean? This isn't of my six that I need to see advance. But I'm not going to lie. I feel like we'd be missing something if this wasn't in the final. I would miss it. I would miss this song if it wasn't in the final.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit funny though that a lot of people are talking about Moldova as a possible surprise qualifier. For me, it would be a surprise non-qualifier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently they have revamped it though. I think I heard like a little clip of it. I think they just made it a little bit rockier and changed the structure a little bit. I will say though, I think the fandom freaks out over revamps more than like your average public person would notice, because I think the essence of the song of that folklore and rock and roll is still in it. So people are going to be able to latch on to that. So let's move on to Portugal. We haven't talked a ton about Portugal. How are y'all feeling about Portugal this year?
Obsessed. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Portugal's out. It's never, I mean, I've only been watching Eurovision since 2016, I think. So Portugal's never really been a country that's grasped me with their entry. But I know it's from what I remember, like a really popular country. Like people usually love what Portugal brings. And I finally feel that this year. I love this song. But I agree with the staging. All the girls, I thought when I first went into watching the performance, I thought it was a girl group. I didn't realize it was a solo artist. I did not realize it was a solo artist, especially because with the name, what is Portugal? Like Maro, right? That could be a group's name. Like I as an American, I don't know. But I didn't realize it was a solo artist. So I just feel like a change needs to be made there. So we're like very well aware we're focusing on one person. But I love the track. One of my most listened to on Spotify for sure.
A lot of people are comparing it to Portugal 2018, which I really, really liked. But this one doesn't grab me the same way the 2018 entry did. But I mean, again, she's great. Her voice is amazing. And I think it's going to qualify, but I don't think it's going to do well. It's like bottom third, maybe.
See, that's my fear, and this is what I said in my video. I'm getting a WhatsApp call. Oh, I think I know who it is. Hold on, let me go on mute real quick.
Yeah, I can just jump in. For me, Portugal is just. It almost annoys me over the fact that I just don't. It doesn't grasp me the way it has done other people.
Mhm.
And in my brain, I can't really understand the hype with it. It's not a bad song, and I like it. I just don't get that hype. And I think, and I've listened to it a couple of times, but I don't know. I think something's wrong with me. I don't think it's wrong with the song. I think it's just me that's wrong.
Nothing wrong with you.
But I 100% we wanted to qualify. But as you said, I don't know how well it would do in the final. I'm very torn. This song's tearing me apart, you know?
So
Yeah.
first of all, I have to say that was Devin who just called me. That's why I was like, hold on. I think I know who's calling me right now. Because when people call me on WhatsApp, I don't get it doesn't show who is calling me. So that was just Devin. I was like, I'm live right now. But I think what I was going to hop in and say was, for me, I could see Portugal qualifying, but depending upon the staging, that to me is make it or break it for how it performs in the final. And I deeply worry about it in the final. In the semi, I'm not that concerned with it. But I will say, Tara, my mom said the same thing. My mom was like, why are all these people on the stage? And then my mom was also like, and some of them are in front of her. It was and when I did my reaction video, all of these people were so offended, because I was like, one, I like the song, so I don't know what you're offended about, because I literally haven't criticized the song at all. All I am saying, welcome back, Lou. All I was saying
Sorry,
was
my
just,
Wi-Fi dropped.
yeah, my fear was just, I don't know if this is what I'd want her introduction, and especially like if I were her manager, I wouldn't want this to be her worldwide introduction with 5 other people, low key, some of them in front of her. Like, I would want my artist to shine, and I think that she is the element of it that allows this song really to crack for me in a good way. I love this song, and I do fear for it if we keep the campfire semicircle. And then my mom also said, she was just like, yeah, and they're not even really giving us any interesting harmonies, of the backing vocals. She's like, well, then what are they there for if it's just going to be in unison, you know? So yeah, and my mom was confused. I didn't say anything to her. I just was like, like, watch it. And then we talked after every entry, but she was like, yeah, is this a girl group? And if it's a girl group, why is only one girl singing? And then if they're a girl group, why aren't they harmonizing more? Like, there are some harmonies that come out, but homegirl Ginger Ale from Festival da Canção is one of the backing vocalists. So to me, what that told me, and I think there's someone else who's like a solo singer that's going to be a backing vocalist. So what that told me was we might be getting some more complex harmonies being introduced on the Eurovision stage, potentially.
That'd be great.
And I think
I also think.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go first.
I was going to say, I think the confusing, because it did confuse me a lot as well in the beginning, might be not a risk, but I think that could be dangerous for them if people are confused about what's not the song, but just like the performance,
Also, too, so many people asked Maro to include, were these people actual like entertainment professionals though? I mean, that's the stuff that worries me, when it's like, okay, like the fans ask, well, the fans are going to like what you do no matter what. So like, if I were out here in the world, I wouldn't really be listening to my fans. I'd be listening to my critics. I'd be listening to the people that I need to win over.
But I'm also thinking that Moldova is going to be, it's kind of either you like it or you don't. And for the people who just go like, oh my God, this is so horrible, Portugal coming after it is going to be like, oh, finally. It's like my nerves. So yeah, I think
Panic cleanser.
Yeah. I think it might get votes from the people who go crazy, negative crazy over Moldova.
All right. And so then we move on from Portugal to Croatia, which I am not going to lie. I was worried when I saw Croatia coming after Portugal, because I do feel like Portugal's song already has hype and a lot of love and an ease. And I wonder, and I think also too, there's something really modern about what Maro is doing in the way that she looks, even just sonically, the song that then Croatia could feel almost more dated than what it is in a sense. You know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily dated, but I think next to it. How are y'all feeling about Croatia?
Well,
For
first of all, I
me,
have
it's
to
easy
say,
listening. Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Sorry, my internet is not playing with me today. I think I have some sort of delay on here as well. So if I talk over you, it is probably my internet. I'm so sorry. For me, all I have to say is Croatia is easy listening, but it's too easy. In terms of it's forgettable. I'll sit through it, and exactly as somebody has just said, it's cute, but it's not doing enough. If you pit it up beside almost any other song in the semi-final, I will remember more from the other performances. I believe it's kind of like an older, slightly dated Taylor Swift song to me.
Yeah. So, as a Swiftie, a self-proclaimed Swiftie, I cannot stand this song. I don't like this song. It's definitely like dentist office music. So it's really just not for me at all. And that's coming from a Swiftie. So
I think when it comes to like watching Portugal feels more genuine, feels more real. And then Croatia, like looking at the video, I'm just so annoyed at that dancer. He just needs to go away. And the song is, it's cute, but that's kind of it. So I agree. It's just no.
I think I agree. This is another one that I keep forgetting that exists. And I think if they get the staging right, it might appeal to a lot of people who do like Taylor Swift, even though I think this is a bad Taylor Swift song. But if they get the staging wrong, which they quite often do, I'm thinking that this might be a non-qualifier.
Yeah, I think there's something easy about Croatia. I think the issue here with Croatia, and I'm gonna name it, and this is why I don't follow national selections. Croatia has something that had two songs that would have easily qualified. Like it wouldn't even be a question. They would have easily qualified and moved on. So, they picked this one. This one won. Resounding. Won. But here we are. We kind of talked about Denmark already, but any other thoughts people want to throw out there about Denmark?
I'm sad because Denmark has a place in my heart every year. There's something about Denmark and Eurovision that I just love so much. And I was unfortunately very disappointed this year because I can't find anything in the song that I actually like. And it hurts my heart to say that. So I don't mind them qualifying if they do, but it's just Denmark is just not for me this year.
yeah, Denmark doesn't hit for me. And the beginning is so long. The slow part is so long. It shouldn't be. It should be like 30 seconds tops. Tops. It's too long.
Because I like the idea of going like so, and then all of a sudden just completely changes it. But as you said, it's too long. It's too dragged. Mm-hmm. So it would be great if they shortened that. Yeah.
I think that's probably right. But to be fair to Denmark, I had nothing to do on this Saturday afternoon. I was in the middle of doing laundry, cleaning my house. I don't think I had my daughter that day, getting ready to like go out to dinner with friends. And I was kind of passively looking at Denmark. They really didn't have any other options. This was probably the best one. Like for them with love. They at least picked, I think, the one. The only other thing was they had sort of like a Lady Antebellum-esque like duet that looked good. It looked good. The song really wasn't doing nothing, and that song probably wouldn't have qualified. I think Denmark is right now ready, is probably their best chance of hope to edge and move on to the final, because I don't think anything else in that national selection would have given them even a shot. Now, we talked a lot about Austria and sort of the pre-party performances, but let's take a moment to talk about Austria. You know, we could be CEOs. Yeah, you already know. Okay. There we go.
I love the
She was,
lyric.
hold up real quick. I heard there was a clip though. She wasn't even hitting that. We could be CEOs. Yeah, you already know. She wasn't even hitting that. Mm.
I mean, there are. Someone says that it's been confirmed that she had technical difficulties. Then I heard somewhere that she's got COVID and that's why she sounded so bad. I don't know, but that was bad. I mean, it was painful to listen to. And I was thinking, poor kid, don't do this to her if she can't sing.
That was painful.
It
As
was.
an Austria fan to watch. It was just, I'm actually distraught. Like, I'm going to cry. I love that song so much. And it's so high. Like, to maintain that vocal, she should be doing tons of work anyway. I hope they are. But what Alicia alluded to earlier, I think is correct. They need to get back in the studio. Do they need to take this down a key? Possibly. They need to work and not worry about pre-parties and whatever else they've booked in, whatever else they have going on. Go and get the vocal down, because otherwise this has no chance. I mean, we saw what happened to Leslie last year when the vocal wasn't there. It happens to somebody every year. It's such a good song. It's so nostalgic. I love the video. I love the styling. Yeah, as Connor said, I'm worried. I'm very concerned.
Yeah. Because there's something about this song that makes you happy, makes you pumped. Like the first time I heard it, I thought, this is great. This is like very almost nostalgic with the music, because it's not super modern, but you still kind of like it because you're like, this is what I grew up listening to. And you're like, oh, this is like an exciting part, since, you know, we have a lot of ballads. This is going to be great. And now I just feel bad. But I think, as Alicia said once before, this is like a professional big music competition, that to be able just to sing the notes is kind of like, you kind of have to, you know what I mean? Because I feel like you're taking other people's spots in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's just the least the thing you should do, is be able to hit the notes. And I'm kind of surprised that she got the song if this is her singing. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the COVID or the technical stuff, but
Yeah, so Roxanne had technical difficulties too. Okay, and Roxanne didn't qualify.
yeah.
So I think that this was already going to be a difficult package to stage. Just to stage. That's giving that you are actually vocally delivering. It was going to be difficult anyway, just to like bring that energy to life on the stage. It's challenging to do that, especially when, you know, they didn't even have tickets on sale, 2 weeks ago. So we could have been talking about a completely empty arena. Real hard to make a party happen when you on the stage and ain't nobody else around you, So I think it was already going to be a challenge there. Yeah. And then I will say, I heard people were like, oh, the performance was better yesterday. With love of the clip that I saw, I was hearing track. I wasn't hearing a live vocal, and the glimmers of live that I were hearing were absolutely bathed in track. Okay, let's move on to Iceland. I'm working on this. I'm working.
Beautiful.
I'm trying. How y'all feeling about Iceland?
I mean, Icelandic is so beautiful, and I love to hear it in Eurovision. This, for me, it's very sweet. It's very charming. It's really nice. Maybe not something I would listen to, but I think it's beautiful. Is the word I would use for it. It's beautiful.
And they are amazing. Mm-hmm. I've been to tons and tons and tons of concerts with not them together necessarily, but especially Eline. I used to live in Iceland for 3 years, for those of you who don't know that. They are just rock solid. I've never heard any of them hit a bum note ever. So vocally, the harmonies are wonderful. I mean, a lot of people are comparing it to Netherlands, 14, sorry. And I see why, but I'm not sure that I actually agree. It's got the kind of sort of like soft country-ish vibe, but this is more folk than country, really. I really, really hope that it's going to qualify. I think it will. And of course, I love hearing Icelandic on the Eurovision stage again. Huge discussions in Iceland with format of Söngvakeppnin. Because this is the second time, the second time it's been really big that the non-favorite won the the duel. So, because everyone, even Sister, were sure that Reykjavík would win. So, yeah.
I like this song. I like the folksy vibe that it has. I do agree it's beautiful. I guess me not knowing the lyrics, I didn't think of it as sweet. I kind of thought of it as kind of haunting almost. But it's got a vibe. It's got a vibe of its own. And then if there are 3 vocalists coming directly after Austria, who were kind of seeing as not a non-vocalist, people are gonna be liking it more than maybe they would have if it came after another vocalist. So running order could help it here, and I agree it's pretty beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't place it in my top 10 personally, but I do enjoy the song and I see it qualifying.
It's another girl gang I love them. It's so cute. It's so folksy. I see somebody in the chat referenced Celtic Woman, which, I'm going to come out here with my Irish flag and say it's a cousin of Celtic Woman, but it's not quite, it's not quite in that frame. Let's be real about that. But it actually feels very on brand Iceland for me, because a lot of artists who maybe are known in the mainstream from Iceland, I believe of Monsters and Men, that group are from Iceland, and that kind of folky sound. I really enjoy a lot of that kind of music. It feels on brand for Iceland. I actually think this is something I would probably vote for. And I think this will get a strong televote from Ireland if we should meet in the final, which I hope we will. I hope Iceland will make it there. Fingers crossed.
I have to say, this to me might be my Belgium 2021. There's something really adult about this entry, and I mean, they are doing my meaningful movement. When I talk about meaningful movement, this is what I mean: the slow pivot, look to the side, guitar. I mean, it's just stuff like that I just find so subtle but so impactful on the stage. So I'm really loving what Iceland is serving. It's definitely folky, and it's one of my favorites this year. But let's move on to another one of my favorites this year, and we're coming in the home stretch. It's Greece, and we haven't talked about Greece at all. How are y'all feeling about Greece this year?
Love it.
I love her. I really, really love her. I've listened to, she doesn't have that many songs from before, but the ones she has, I've actually listened to for months and months, long before we heard that she was going to represent Greece. So I love her voice. I like the song. Not entirely sure about the lyrics. I've played it to some people. This is one of the songs I've actually listened to more than once or twice. And I've played it to people and they go what's the point in dying together? So I don't know. You sort of have to listen to the whole lyrics to get that bit. And if you don't listen to the lyrics and that's all you hear, I think it's going to be somewhat off-putting to some people.
The lyrics remind me, I don't know if you guys know The Notebook. It was a movie from Nicholas Sparks, a novel and a movie. If we die together, I won't lose you to another. And it definitely gives me how they died together at the end. It's just the ultimate romance, but also it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's sad and romantic at the same time. And it's definitely, it's top. I don't know where I exactly ranked it, but easily top 3 for me. Love this song. I need to see it qualify for sure.
Oh,
I think this is my biggest grower, actually. I wasn't super pumped about it the first time, But the more I listened to it, the more I actually really, really liked it. I think it made Greece top 6. I think something, but it's definitely grown on me. I think it's awesome. I think it's an awesome song. Absolutely. And she seems amazing. I've seen a lot of tweets about her just being a great vocalist, being great stage performance. So I'm really excited to see this live. 100%.
The song isn't for me. I don't know if I would stream it, but it's one of those that I'm willing to sit back and be like, well, okay, I need to see the live because I think the live could really make it amazing and magical. And it's interesting that we've mentioned The Notebook because I think it could be cinematic. That's the word I kind of think of when I listen to parts of the song and I reflect. So I think they could really do something magical with this on stage. It just depends what Greece does with it, I think.
And I agree with Chris. I also want to watch The Notebook.
I think this is my favorite of the Norwegian entries this year, though.
This is, I mean, look, y'all, I'm gonna have to say it. I think that Greece is in the running to win the semi. I think the reason why people are underrating it is because we haven't seen the live performance yet. Greece is not doing the pre-parties, which I think is smart. But we also know that Greece has had difficulties in the past when it comes to staging. And they've had beautiful songs, I think, oozing with winner potential that they then have, fumbled the bag on because it just wasn't translated correctly to the stage. What I'm hearing on the street is that this is going to feel like, I think the nymphs, there's a monument in Greece, and that it could look a little bit like that. I think Amanda, as an artist, she is giving sort of that Scandi pop vibe in a good way that I think, like I think the Scandi girls I would highlight like Sigrid. They look like real girls. You know what I mean? Like just like regular girls. Like and I think there's something about that comes off as likable. And there is something about being kind of telegenic, but telegenic in a relatable way for Eurovision. And we can't forget. I mean, this to me could end up being the overall jury winner in the final. I believe that actually pretty deeply. Switzerland won the jury last year. I think people forget that. People think that like France won. France didn't. Switzerland did. The fact that she wrote this song, the fact that it has sort of this cinematic, but then modern feel. There's a modernity to this song that I think juries do latch on to as well. I could be hyping it up, but I also will say I think we need to see it. And I think within the Eurovision bubble right now, what's hurting it is people haven't seen it. But lest we forget, we didn't see Fuego. We didn't see Fuego. It came second. All right. I'm not saying Greece is winning. I'm not saying Greece is winning, but I do think it has the potential to win the jury.
I think it's another top 5 in the final.
Yeah, for sure. I also think lyrically, people will, listening to it, they'll hear, it's been a hell of a year living in fear. I think a lot of people can grasp onto that lyric and apply their own experience to that lyric, especially with so many things have been going on these last 2 years, especially. I think the lyrics could, like, you pluck that one lyric from a song, you apply your own experience to it, and you just suddenly love that song. So I think lyrically, it's really good. I can't wait to see what they do with it live. And total favorite for me.
I think this is a Fuego, and I think this is also Ukraine 2016. It's not like in the fight of winning in the beginning, but as soon as you see it live, I think it's going to rise up. And I think that might actually happen. And I wouldn't be sad for that.
Look, y'all, I'm just trying to procure a nice vacation for myself. Okay, this is all selfish. I'm saying all of these things because I just want to have a nice vacation. Okay, and I would love to go to Greece.
I also think that this is one of the songs that might appeal both to the juries and the televote.
Correct.
Because the juries are going to listen to it and hear this is actually quality. This isn't something that took shorter to write than it does to perform. And the audience and the televoters are going to go like, this sounds like like really contemporary. This sounds like something I would listen to outside of the contest.
Yeah.
So I think that this is possibly, I'm probably wrong, but right now, what I can think of, this is possibly the one song that has the biggest potential to hit both halves of the jury or the votes.
That, and I think that's the thing sometimes, I always say, I think it's easier to kind of predict where the jury is going than the televote. And it all comes down on mood, but I'm going to need the televote to go into high gear and think about where you want to go. Okay. You know, Greece by the water, relatively affordable. Yeah.
Warm and cheap. That's what I want every year.
Euro Club on a Greek island.
Come
Mamma Mia vibes.
on. Come on, y'all. Manifest, manifest. All right, well, let's move on to our last two. We've got Norway, and we kind of talked about Norway before. Like, I have heard people kind of talking about Norway being polarizing, but I'm sort of like, but polarizing to what demographics? Because I think the parents are going to feel it. The people who like the WTF stuff on the Eurovision stage are going to feel it. The kids are going to love it because the parents, and the parents will be like, well, my kid loves, my daughter literally watches it in a trance. And she now is doing the yum 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 yum, like for real, like in the car the other day I had it playing and she was like yum yum yum. The best. Like,
oh, that's so cute.
Okay, so yeah, what are y'all feeling for Norway?
I mean, I love it. I just listen, because if you really listen to the beat, especially in the chorus, it is really good beat. It's very, like, it's produced really well. But I think when you have lyrics like Keith, or was it Jim, or Grandma is tasty and whatever, it's just, you kind of lose that feeling of, the feeling of when you hear a really good beat. You know that feeling? And I saw a comment that I really, very true, that after Greece, it might come across as a little bit cheap. Yeah, exactly that one. It might actually, but I think this is a qualifier, 100%. Not sure if it's going to do really well in the final, because I think people are going to love it and like, oh, this is awesome the first time. And then it's like, okay, we've seen this now. We kind of want to do other things now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just fun. It's silly fun. And I think a lot of people, it's another thing we need after these 2 years.
Yes, exactly.
And I mean, it's not trying to be anything that it's not. I mean, there are two guys in yellow wolf masks. How much sillier can you get? But at the same time, it's actually a good beat. Especially in the chorus.
There's a modernity.
No way you can sit still.
Yeah, there's a modernity to this. It's a fun entry that also feels slightly forward and current, which I actually think, because I think some people were sort of comparing this to like Latvia. Mm-hmm. Latvia doesn't sound, you know what I mean? It's more classic. It has a tinge of dated to it. Norway feels fun, and yes, it's silly, but with some modernity to it.
Yeah, if I'm a voter and I'm voting for the fun entry, I'm voting for Norway over Latvia, for sure.
As a fan who was inducted into the World Eurovision fully after the chaos of 2008, I am always welcoming to these kinds of entries with open arms. And sometimes you get fans who, coming from a place of concern, don't want entries like these in Eurovision. They worry it will taint its reputation or its reception amongst non-fans or the average viewer or whatever. And I just totally agree that we've had kind of a tough couple of years. Why can't we just have 3 minutes of silly fun? These guys singing about wolves and grandmas and bananas. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's not a Eurovision winner, but that doesn't matter. It's going to light up the competition for a couple of minutes, and I think it just adds something fun to the contest. Why not? Keep it in, keep them in, and yeah, they're a surefire qualifier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Televote stomper, surely.
And I think this is also for like the Eurovision community, watching them do parodies of other people's songs. Like that is just entertaining, and I love it. As you know, I love
They
it.
have a viral, how would you say, a viral appeal around them. Like there's a reason why Ylvis, or however you pronounce, went viral with what does the fox say and all that kind of stuff. And there's a reason why people thought maybe Subwoofer were Ylvis for a while. So there's always space for this kind of thing in Eurovision, to me.
I'm thinking that fun entries, joke entries, call them whatever you want. They always have a place. I don't always like them. But I think that when you manage to combine the fun bit with at least somewhat good music, then it definitely has a place and it's going to qualify.
I completely agree. Well, I just want to say, because we're coming to the close, we're not done yet, but coming to the close of our stream. So I just want to thank everyone who tuned in and watched. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're going to be doing this in 2 weeks. We'll be back and we'll be talking about the 3 other Big 5 entries and semifinal 2, which I believe is our semifinal of death. So you definitely don't want to miss that conversation. And yeah, let's move on to our show closer, Armenia, which I'm not going to lie, I was surprised that Armenia was giving us something like this. I wasn't expecting it. I like it. When it first came out, I really thought that, oh, and I see we have a question and it's got some money behind it, so we're going to have to answer it. But I will throw it to the table. So how do you think Poland, Spain, and Albania are going to do? Well, I think one of these is going to do very well. I think one of these is going to do really well with the televote. Like one of these is going to do really, really well on both sides of the aisle. One of these is going to do really, really well with the televote. And I think one of these might end up doing well, but there's a potential for falling flat depending upon how they stage it. That's how I'm going to answer. What about the rest of y'all?
I completely agree with everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Poland's got the song, they've got the vocal, but can they put on a show?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for the question, Oscar. But yeah, let's get into Armenia, because there's something about it that I feel like them getting this running order cements them. I already felt like when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is something that could qualify. Like, I was like, this is definitely something that could qualify. She can actually sing, so she's not going to get on stage and embarrass herself. She's going to be able to, I think, deliver this with ease. I just see it qualifying. I don't even know what else to say. I think the song is highly derivative, and I will even say my mom, when she heard it, she was like, this sounds like something I've heard before. And then I played Hey Ho, and my mom was like, well, I don't know if I've heard that song, but this song sounds familiar.
Yeah, I really like this. It's a very Smith and Tell song, for those of you who get that reference.
I love them so much.
Yeah, and I don't have much to say about it, but I really, really like it. I actually really do. Did not expect it to come from Armenia, but I really, really like it. 100% qualifier.
I love this so much. It's in my top 3. And just picture this, right? I love the video. She's sitting on the edge of the house, looking out over the world. You don't need her to do much. Like, sit her on a really beautiful house with her guitar, spin the camera around a couple of times, ask the audience to take out their phones, turn on their torches. Boom. Imagine that at the end of the recap. Snapping 1, 2. The song is so accessible. You're going to have the audience singing along. I think this could really have a moment on stage. I think this could be really, really special. And it's a definite qualifier.
I hope you're right. I also think it's a definite qualifier. But I really, really, really want this to do super well in the final. I haven't made my own ranking yet, but I think this is probably my favorite in semi 1.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I've only listened to the songs twice, so probably next time I'm going to shuffle them around a bit. But I really like this song. So probably it's definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, it's It's in my top 10 for sure. I love it. I need it to, I really want it to qualify. The lyrics, I feel like some people could just hear them and just be like, yeah, that's really like a fun kind of sing-songy, follow along. I know the lyrics halfway through, so I can finish the song with you. It's cool that way, but it's also, I like the lyrics where you can also, and I don't know if I got it the first time, but you know, it's like people are just like, oh, just get over it. You know, just get over it. And how many times have you heard that or told yourself that? Just get over it. It's not that simple. If you tell me that again, I'm gonna snap. So I think the lyrics are fun, and the video was super high quality. So I'm really excited to see what they bring to the stage because the video is great.
Well, I was giving a little bit of space, but thank y'all so much for joining, and thanks to everyone for watching. This is the Ladies' Choice Eurovision 2022 live stream. I'm so thankful. Tara, Viv, Louise, Julia, thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone stays tuned. I am really excited for Eurovision 2022. I'm genuinely excited for this year, and I hope everyone watching is too. Thank you